Good afternoon to you. I'm Jessica Brown, sitting in for Karen Holmes Ward, and today we are spotlighting some of the talented and often marginalized groups in Boston's art and entertainment communities. Boston is home to diverse and creative opportunities for artists and entrepreneurs. Karen takes a closer look at a local theater group's effort to affect change.
In June, Boston's Theater Offensive put on a 4-day festival called Queer Republic. The festival included works from artists who are part of the Boston Theater Offensive first 22-month-long Queer Republic Emergent Artist Residency, or the QR-EAR program for short. This festival's purpose is to foster safe spaces for artists of color and those who are part of the LGBTQIA+ community as well. Annalise River Guidry, known as River, is one of the featured artists taking part in the residency. Their piece, Theater of Union, is a collaborative, interactive theater experience. The idea first came to River when they were in college in Vermont in 2018. Being an artist has always been their calling.
I got into the arts at a super young age. It was always my destiny to be an artist. And my mom was like the #1 supporter in that and getting me into all the classes that I wanted to be a part of and finding resources when we didn't have any resources.
Born in New Orleans, River relocated to Massachusetts as a child after Hurricane Katrina. River cultivates their passion for theater and self-expression into something much bigger than themselves.
The Queer Republic Festival in its entirety is a glimpse of what a liberated future can look like. And with Theater of Union specifically, I created this work to liberate us all with love and loving practice. And when I say us all, I mean like humans and non-humans and also like our ancestors too.
Cheyenne Wizard Jones is another artist from the Queer Republic Emergent Artist Residency. Her piece, The Messenger, is a journey of the history of Black Indigenous storytelling. She shares some advice for the younger generation of artists.
Advice just feels like more just do it, and I say that very candidly in the ways that this is my first story, my first playwright production with the Theater Offensive, with a larger theater organization, and it really came from just wanting to tell a story and applying for this residency. And so, you know, sometimes I think artists, we think we have to have this full portfolio or body of work before we can do something.
Performer Victoria Lynn Awkward choreographed a liberating dance that features silks to help visually conceptualize her piece called In the Space Between. Victoria spoke about the ways people can support queer artists and performers.
There are many ways. I'd like to say there's like the immediate support. That might be mutual aid if you see people asking for funds for medical support, things that sometimes these marginalized folks don't have access to. And then other ways are like culturally showing up to our shows. Are you showing up in a way that asks and brings in love and respect?
In the midst of a tumultuous social and political time in this country, the artists are hoping audiences find ways to make their communities more welcoming. Festival director Des Bennett and Giselle Bird, executive director of the Boston Theater Offensive, believe in art's ability to ignite change.
The festival to me is a gift and a guide to audience members on what it means to be in loving community, not only with each other, with the land, with ourselves, with our spirits. And we offer you a guidebook on like how to do that as an audience member experientially and then take that out into your own communities.
I think that we are becoming very unsafe, very unstable for queer and trans folks, especially those of color, who often fall victim to the long-standing epidemic of violence that none of us subscribe to. And so that means pouring in community resources and mutual aid to ensure that can happen.
Boston is so known for, finance and healthcare and stuff like that, but there's so many talented people. Like, a lot of actors come from Boston, artists and stuff like that. So I knew that it was here, and I just wanted to create a space where I could bring that out.
Olivia Ladon and Nicole Saliba are two women entrepreneurs located in Alston. Olivia started her modeling and talent agency business called Mad Talent Management back in 2022. She is not only the owner, but a photographer as well. Nicole started her event planning and event services business called Let's Get Dressed Boston back in 2024. Both have experienced challenges as they build their businesses.
I would literally be like, this is what I do, this is the amount of people I've gotten in a room, like take it or leave it. I think it's just being taken seriously.
I think this is kind of a male-dominated industry, so coming in as a woman was definitely challenging, but I don't really take no for an answer, and I just do what I need to do. I like to offer a place where people can come and feel comfortable and that there is a place for everyone. I call us the underdogs. Like, that's like our thing. It's like, we're the underdogs and you're welcome here, and we'll prove to you like why we're here and why we want to be here and how it's worth it.
They have pushed past the geographic biases about Boston, emphasizing the city has many creative opportunities. Both Nicole and Olivia feel confident in their abilities to continue to pursue their dreams in the place they grew up.
I think there is an industry here. People just need to talk about it more, and we were kind of here to bring that awareness.
I've met so many different creatives around the city. They're everywhere. We just kind of have to build a community here. There is definitely a crowd in Boston for sure. Most of them would tell me like, it's not here for you. You have to go to New York, you have to go to LA, like you have to move, like you're not gonna find what you need here. And I just couldn't take that answer.
Couldn't take that answer. I love to see it. This summer, the Boston LGBTQ+ Museum of Art, History, and Culture is presenting a new exhibit called Keene the Void. Joining us now is Rajayla Furman, the curator in residence for the museum. Thank you so much for being with us.
Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, we're excited to talk about this because we know a queer Haitian artist known as Keene is working in black and white in this exhibit. Talk about this exhibit, the significance of that as well.
Yeah, this is Keene's second ever solo exhibition, so to me it's a big deal, and he's made this huge departure from color. So like you said, he's working only with black and white, and this is like his exploration of making a name for himself and forming a full collection of works. And yeah,
we're showing some glimpses here of some of this beautiful work. What are some of the themes of the paintings in this exhibit?
There's honestly a lot going on. He's working with themes of kind of opposites and how they interact with one another, really emphasizing that both and thinking of, okay, how do these things exist together, and trying to emulate an experience for any visitor to kind of see, you know, like what that's like to interact with something that you thought was opposite but actually isn't.
Right. So you talked about people who are coming to go see this, right? And what they're going to take away. What's the conversation that you hope to spark when you selected this exhibition as your first as curator in residence?
Well, for me, I just really want to emphasize the stories that are around me and that are meaningful to me. And Keene is also my cousin, so we're family, and I know what it was like for him to sort of embrace his identity in its fullness, because it was very similar for me as, you know, first generation Haitian American artist in the family. So I just really hope that people come in and are able to appreciate his work for all that it is, and also see themselves in it and really question it, you know, have a relationship to it. That's what I want with it, yeah.
You can hear the pride, right, when you're talking about your cousin, this artist. Curious, why did Keene call this exhibit The Void?
Yeah, so I mean, that was something that was really interesting. We were going back and forth about the title a lot. We just couldn't really put a title to it. It's so hard to put language to something that to both of us is so profound and intricate and, you know, expansive. But he one day was like, what about The Void? And we thought about it, we went back and forth, and we were like, actually, yeah, because it's kind of this space of ambiguity and wondering what a void even is, was kind of what got us to be like, yeah, this should be the title, because he started with like darkness, and he worked with like, you know, like adding light to that. And so that's kind of what we started thinking about, was what lies in the darkness and people's associations with darkness, and yeah.
What about this exhibit for you speaks the most to you when you see his work?
For me, I'm so glad you asked me that because it's the eyes, the gaze. Most of the time, his subjects are looking directly at the viewer, and that's something that at least historically isn't always done for strategic reasons. And there's just so much emotion in the eyes. There's so much of the painting is centered on the eyes, on the gaze, on the face, on the features as well. He really emphasizes Afrocentric features. And I just love that about his work.
As you were mentioning the eye, we popped up that photo. I don't know if we can pop it up again because you can see, it's almost like you can kind of describe multiple emotions from just that eye in the photo. I want to go back to his roots, right? Because I know he's based in Florida, but he does have Boston connections. Has the city, or how has the city influenced his work?
Which city? Boston.
Yeah.
Honestly, he has a similar perspective to Boston that I did growing up, because I also grew up in Florida and then my family moved here. And so he sees Boston as like this city where his family is, but also so many things are possible. And it's very different from where he's from in Fort Lauderdale. So here he's got the opportunity to have his first solo show, and now he's having his second solo show in Boston. So I'm sure he really appreciates Boston for how much it's embraced him, even as somewhat as an outsider. Yeah.
Beautiful. Rajayla, we appreciate your time. Thank you so much for joining us. By the way, you can visit the exhibition at the Pride Gallery in Hyde Park. The exhibit will be on view through September 12th. You do not want to miss it.